Hello there, Cancer. The month of October 2023 promises to be a fundamentally game-changing time in your life, particularly because the moon, the ruler of your sign, gets embroiled in an eclipse in the house of home property and real estate that could spin out over 6 months of change. We're going to talk a little bit about that home property real estate stuff, but also some good things that are happening, hopefully, in your sky to do with your romance, your love, your children, your sexuality, and your entrepreneurial chutzpah. Let's get going and dive into the details of the month of October. To begin with, let's talk about who I am. In case you're new to my channel, I am Lori Lothian. I'm a Western tropical zodiac astrologer. I'm using whole sign houses, minor asteroids, and fixed stars. This month, I'm sharing with you a free offer. My webinar on the eclipses in Libra and Taurus this October will be held on October 3rd. It is free, and for all signs, I'm diving into deep guidance and advice about how to best understand and use these eclipses in your sky. We will not cover them in much depth here, except for you Cancers, for example, because boy, that lunar eclipse in the fourth house in Libra, the first of a series, is going to have some major impact on your life, and you may feel some of that beginning in the month of October. Let's go ahead and break the whole month down in great detail. Now, I'm going to talk about the fact, first of all, that we have sign changes for 3 planets. And that means this month will feel very different than the month of September. Let's begin with the basic big one that I think you might want to pay attention to, which is that Venus is moving after 4 months in the sign of Leo. That's June, July, August, September into October 8th in Leo. In your second house of earnings is a done deal. It's a story that's coming to an end. Hopefully you felt some lusciousness in your finances. Your spending went well. Hopefully not too much spending. You felt like your food style improved. You felt really persuasive and charismatic with your speech. And basically it should have been a bit of a financial and self-worth glow up for most of you Cancer risings. And as Venus is leaving your second house, moving into your third house on October the 8th through to November the 8th, this is a new narrative and invites many of you to travel short distances at that, but to take journeys, especially for romantic love commitments or business partnerships, and maybe even to see a sibling or a sibling traveling to see you. Travel is on the radar in the month of October through to November 8th. October 8th to November 8th. As well, Venus moving through your third house can be really great for writing projects, online world stuff, getting things figured out on your business end of an online project or writing project or website development. And finally, more enjoyment of your local neighborhood. Going to the bars, going to the restaurants, having more fun in those environments for sure can benefit you. And lastly, taking a course or a skills-based learning that you actually enjoy, and that could be very beneficial for you October 8th to November the 8th. Mars is going to be moving into Scorpio, and because he's also invisible in October, and this is a pretty big story. Mars is a god of change. It really simply means I'm going to change direction, change momentum. He also ends, cuts, and severs things. Now, before he gets to Scorpio on October the 12th, sorry if I'm scratching myself, and before he moves into the sign of Scorpio, he will have been moving for 6 weeks through Libra. So the first couple of weeks until October 12th, indeed, he is moving through your fourth house, finishing up what he was doing there. Hopefully not conflict in the home, hopefully renovations or construction in the home, but he was there and he could have caused disagreements or arguments with those with whom you cohabitate or live, or changes in your home or travel away from home are all possibilities. But as he moves on October 12th into your fifth house, where he will stay for 6 weeks, yes, October 12th to November 24th, this can bring conflict with a child. It could bring difficulties or disagreements with a romantic relationship, although it can incite greater passion because he's in Scorpio is home dignity. Therefore, you may be rejuvenating your romantic life. But also when it comes to children, this can also mean a child is going to move away from the home or out of the home or separate away from you. For example, like an adult child going off to school or something like that. You're going to feel this energy though for quite a while. October 12th it begins, but it's not done until the third week of November. Mars here can make you quite ambitious when it comes to creative projects or entrepreneurial endeavors, and you might be very focused, driven, ambitious, and willful in getting what you want out of that house. Because he's invisible, a lot of this can be not a good time for new beginnings in entrepreneurship or new projects in that kind of creative area, but rather maybe tackling things that you've already begun, or really just letting him do his thing here while he's invisible until November 24th, to do with how you could kind of Zen warrior out your fifth house. You might want to make a change with a child in your house, and you might want to do it in a very subtle way, or you might want to incite a new romantic, passionate relationship to greater heights in your life, but you want to figure out how Mars best says to do it. Because when he's invisible, it's sometimes not so much about the outer action, but the inner motive. What are your motives regarding children, romance, love, sexuality, entrepreneurship, and creativity? And those are things you're being asked to investigate all through the month of October. And finally, Mercury is doing a 3-sign change up. He's a busy bugger this month. He's finishing up a very long 2-month stay in Virgo. And on October 1st to the 3rd, he will be in the late degrees of your third house. So journeys, travel, siblings, skills-based learning, local neighborhood, writing. Some of you may be finishing up a writing project. And October 1st to 3rd, he trines Pluto in the house of contracts, legal agreements, business and love partners and audience. Great time for some Cancer risings to sign a book contract, get a deal, find an agent first 3 days of October, or to agree to travel with a significant other, for example, and take a fun journey together, especially a marriage type partner. Mercury also in the third house could ask you to study or learn something. You may just sign an agreement or contract that you're going to take that course. That's the first 3 days of October. And well, he's only there for a short time. He moves quickly after that into the sign of Libra. And he's going to be in Libra, and he's going to be there for 3 weeks, October the 5th to the 21st. Almost 3 weeks. And as he's moving through Libra pretty quickly, by the way, this is a great time for you. Okay, Cancer, for contracts and agreements, negotiations, and deal making regarding property, home, land, and real estate, or communications with a mother or father from, your childhood, like your mom and dad, or even because of Hygeia in your 8th house of fiscal hygiene, your stocks, your investments, your 401k, your retirement monies, your shared monies with your spouse. A lot of conversations regarding shared monies and what you wish to do in and about the home regarding those monies. I mean, you'll have the sun in Libra as of October the 21st, and you'll have Mercury still in Libra, right, until October the 22nd. So during that window of time, maybe, let me double check that. Yeah, the sun will be leaving. Let's just get that exact timing, okay? 4 days later, 1921. Yeah, the sun is heading to Scorpio about the 22nd, but there's a time when the sun and Mercury are together. All right. And that's wonderful. We're going to be talking about the Kazimi. So you can benefit a lot from deep conversations around property, land, and real estate developments, especially regarding shared resources and monies with a partner or spouse. So that's a lot of what seems to be happening for you in the month of October. And then finally, Mercury moves into your 5th house, and that's his late stage story. And Mercury will be there October 22nd through to the end of the month. And Mercury in your 5th house would be a lot of deal-making conversations and communications with a child, with a romantic partner, or involving yourselves in new marketing and selling and communication strategies in any entrepreneurial business or creative project, for example. And you'll go strong there as Mercury rounds things out in the last 9 days of October. So those are big picture stories about broad brushstroke themes moving through the sky. Let's break that down into the chronology. I already told you October 1st to the 3rd was really wonderful regarding the 3rd house, 7th house axis in that trine to Pluto. But I didn't mention that Mercury also, October 1st to the 3rd, will oppose Neptune. And that can be some tension regarding travel, international travel, third marriages, things to do with academic environments and learning environments, and some kind of kerfuffle. Maybe something you envisioned you wanted and dreamed into being doesn't turn out to meet your measure of what you really want, or some kind of communications difficulty with a sibling regarding foreign lands, travel, legal matters, etc. So look for that little bit of tension there, a little bit of confusion October 1st to the 3rd. Moving forward, however, there's a very intense energy going on October the 8th to the 10th. I call it the week of the gnarly. It's like a pretty gritty sky, right? Beware of the gritty sky, October 8th to the 10th. And Mars squares Pluto. And that kind of Mars square Pluto, Mars in Libra squaring Pluto in Capricorn, feels like some kind of need for a decision or dramatic action that you might need or want to take. Now, Mars is in Libra. It's not a sign of his great health. He doesn't like it there. It's your property, home, land, domestic and private life, what goes on in your privacy of your home. And I already mentioned maybe people were arguing or there was conflict in the home when Mars was there. And because don't remember, remember, he's been there for 6 weeks. It doesn't leave till October 12th. So here we have this October 8 to 10, Mars in the late degrees of your 4th house, squaring Pluto in Capricorn in your 7th house of marriage. Often it's a domestic dispute, some kind of disagreement, even a large fight about home-based situations with a significant marriage type partner. And it could also be a blowout with a business partner or somebody in your client audience space, but more practically for many of you Cancers, it could be a big disagreement, a big challenge in some existing long-term marriage type partnership regarding property, homeland, real estate, and domestic strife. So watch out for that really tense part of the sky on October 8th to the 10th. Mars might be trying to motivate a change of home, and maybe your partner won't agree to that or doesn't want to change home, for example, or move home. Then we have October 8th to the 10th as well, Venus opposing Saturn. Venus in Virgo, not a sign of strength, not a sign of her greater power. You know, she's out of dignity, we call it. She's debilitated. And she's, but that's okay. You know, but she is going to oppose Saturn. And the same week, same time, October 8th to the 10th, Saturn is in your house of people who have authority over you, who could be father figures, academics, things to do with maybe bureaucracies and governments, things maybe to do with foreign shores and travel, maybe even professors and learning environments. And that Saturn is like in a difficult relationship to Venus, and her agenda is to have pleasure and fun in the local neighborhood, shops and stores, to have fun in the online world, maybe to have more pleasure with siblings or travel. And then Saturn's got us kind of hot kibosh, rain on her parade from the 9th house. So look for some tension around competing agendas here between Saturn in the 9th. He would rather like you to get a lawyer, legal up, take that important trip abroad, sign up for that longer course of study, where Venus is just wanting to have her pleasures and her fun in her detriment in the 3rd house. Now, because she's with Juno, the goddess of commitment and love, it can be with a romantic or business partner, or it can even be asking you to commit to something in that 3rd house of education and travel, but there's some kind of obstruction. And that would be even a visa. You want to travel and you can't get the visa. That'd be a classic story that this would look like October the 8th to the 10th. October 12th to the 14th, Mars will trine Saturn. Mars and Saturn in a trine is a positive thing. High ambition, high achievement, high focus, high drive, success through drive and perseverance and dedication. You're on fire, but you haven't seen Mars in Scorpio trining Saturn in Pisces since 1995. So therefore, it's not a common feeling in your sky. And that Scorpio is your ambitious 5th house of creativity and entrepreneurship. And maybe children, and maybe things to do with romance. And when Mars is there and trining Saturn in your 9th house, this could definitely invite leisure travel, pleasure travel, distance, foreign shore travel, for romantic love, for pleasure, for excitement, for creativity, for inspiration. It also may mean like you might have some kind of real perseverant creative project finish line that you're really racing to get done, especially if it involves the word publications of any sort, whether it's a book publication, publishing a podcast, publishing anything. So you've got a lot of publications, drive and determination, really finishing up something strong, maybe that you'd already started working on quite a ways ago. Because Saturn's retrograde, you're going back over some project or creative project or something that you've done before. The word international is highlighted here as well with Saturn in the 9th house. And this is true, this positive flow, October 12th to the 14th. Then on October 19th to the 21st, Mercury goes into the heart of the sun, will conjunct asteroid Persephone and squaring Pluto. Oh, it's intense. Ooh. So Persephone is about the victim-victor story. It's somebody abducted to the underworld, becomes a queen of the underworld, and you can't make a victim out of her. So where you might have felt something was victimizing you, you may reset your button here, October 19th to the 21st, with the Kazimi being most exact on the 20th. That's Mercury, downloads, divine insights, and resets on the 20th. Now, where it's happening is in the sign of Libra. It's that Libra zone is your fourth house of property, land, and real estate we talked about. Mercury is going to reset you here, but there's tension with a marriage partner, business partner, or a legal matter, Pluto in the seventh house. And because it's on the nodes of fate, there's a letting go, surrendering, and releasing that may be needed. And there's tension between things going on in your career versus your home life versus your partner versus legal matters. But you're resetting a button and you're no longer a victim of circumstance, using strategy, wisdom, and knowledge, Athena, to achieve the result and outcome you want. But look for divine inspiration, meditate, take my webinar even to talk about how to activate this for you. And it's going to be a window of a day on the 20th where you can really achieve some superior results about struggles to do with property, maybe spouse, business partnerships, legal contracts and agreements, okay? And also some tension between your home life and your work life as well. October 21st to the 24th. Well, we have a lovely window time. This is the opposite of gnarly. This is the glow up time. And that's Venus trining Jupiter and the Sun trining Saturn. Venus in a flow to Lord Jupiter brings a superior amount of luck and fortune and goodness into our lives. For you, the goodness is happening between the houses of Virgo and the house of Taurus. In other words, it's happening in your third house, which is trips and travel, siblings, especially younger, skills-based learning, and the online world, and your house of great gains in your career, rewards, promotions, financial surplus, friends as allies, and also elder sibling. A lot going on in the sibling part for some of you Cancers. It's very positive, October 21st to the 24th. Sibling glow up, older and younger, but also career gains are spilling forth through things you're doing to do with travel, websites, design and writing, teaching and learning, all of that. So you're getting a kind of nice, especially if you work online, especially if that's a part of your story, a really nice financial glow up nonetheless, even so in your house of career gains, because Venus is blessing you from the third house. So for most of us, we work online to some degree. So the online world is a third house of a virtual neighborhood, but a local neighbor or neighborhood person, cousin or sibling can also benefit your greater gains from your career. My sister Nancy, healingwithnancylynn.com, gets a shout out from me quite a lot. And maybe I'll send her a Thanksgiving shout out to my newsletter for Canadian Thanksgiving. And it'll just simply boost her revenue and her client base October 21 to 24. And also, the Sun is trining Saturn. Now, when the Sun is trining Saturn, this is a lovely feeling of something being very powerfully, yes, when it comes to authority, career, purpose, and a commitment to persevere and do the task at hand. But there's a lot of success with this energy. And what it is about is it's that Sun in Scorpio trining Saturn. Yay, Saturn in Pisces, even though he is retrograde. Now, 0 degrees and 0 degrees. So it's very fresh, new, innocent, and lucky just by degree. And with the Sun on this, in this trine, the 21st to the 24th is kind of glowing up and playing out. You may find some really good news coming from your lover, from your children, or some creative project suddenly getting a big boost. Like if you were a writer, this is the agent accepting it. This is a deal of a century. The publisher says yes, or something like that. Same with you're an artist, publishing your record, publishing something. Publishing is a key word here. But also trips and travel, leisure travel, bonus points, success for a child academically, and more. This trine of the Sun to Saturn, between houses 5 and 9, is preceded by, the Mars trine Saturn energy back in October 12th to the 14th. So it's not brand new energy. You feel like, oh yeah, if I go back to October 12th and 14th, Mars was loving up Saturn. Mars was sending Saturn a glow up from Scorpio, right? You were appreciating that. And now the Sun is following up, kind of completing something that may have been percolating October 12th to the 14th. Moving into October 27th through the 30th, we have a kind of rare, not seen since 1999, combination of Mars moving through Scorpio, while also conjunct Mercury opposite Jupiter. Okay, so it's a bit of a weird time because you haven't seen it since 1999 or 1976. So it's a new experience for you Cancer risings. But Mars, Mercury together opposite Jupiter is very explosive news, explosive information, explosive communication. It's combustible energy, even though it's watery Scorpio. Mars is invisible, which mitigates it, and Jupiter's retrograde, which makes it softer. Okay, but it could be explosive, shocking, unexpected developments of some sort. Not shocking, just explosive. October 27th to 30th from a child, from a romantic partner, or from somebody in your entrepreneurial business endeavor environment or something like that. That's where Mars is sitting with Mercury. And, in that opposition to Jupiter, whatever is combusting up here in the fifth house is reverbing to your, friends, your groups of friends, your elder sibling, or even the way you're prospering and creating great career gains in your life at this juncture. The resources of the money and success and reputation from that 10th house endeavors are kind of, something's blowing up here. Now you could have a blow up with a child, and it's or a child is having a blow up and a very harsh communication with your elder sibling or a friend or something like that. But no, the other one I might say is that Mars just wants change, really. It's trying to change something in your fifth house. And again, as I said earlier, for some of you, it could be something with a child moving out, or a problem with a child, or arguing with a child, grown or not. And opposite Jupiter in the 11th, it may really be a kind of he's in his joy. He's very strong up there. He's in the house of his joy. He's ruled by Venus, not in a great dignity, but trining him. So he's got some superior strength, but Mars is strong. So it's a real showdown here. Eek. So look for blow-ups here to do with, even sometimes colleagues at work can be in the 11th house. So where's work tension that could show up here as well. But you might want to travel for pleasure and leisure, and you have to you have some explosive discussion with a sibling, or a child is going to prohibit you for traveling because you have to make commitments to the child, or whatever else. Explosive energies on the 5th house, 11th house axes. Okay, just watch for that. October 27th to the 30th. Finally, we finish strong on a positive note when Venus trines Uranus, bringing unexpected positive financial and love stories into the fore. Unexpected, exhilarating, and good shit is happening here October 31st. And that is going to be, yay. Venus is in a trine to Uranus. So she's in your 3rd house of travel and siblings, and your 11th house of siblings. And so sibling travel, unexpected positive developments with an elder sibling or from a younger sibling, some opportunities maybe to make some successful forays into new lucrative and exciting blow-ups of your financial success from your career through things you're doing through online world, writing, trips, travel, or new business partnerships, especially with Venus conjunct Juno during much of this. So business partnerships, a new online business partnerships, and explosively good results, especially with Jupiter up there as well. If you're single, though, a trip or a travel or course you're taking or an online dating app could reveal the exciting new relationship, but it may be connected to friends you already know, or a sibling, or somebody older sibling introducing you to the love of your life, or a journey or a trip connected to siblings and romance involving from it. So much to be said about it, but it's positive. And quite possibly, if you want to make money out of this, you can, because this can involve online revenue through the 11th house and the career. So a great financial boost as well. I did mention I would touch a little bit on the fact that you have an eclipse at 28 degrees, right? At 21 degrees of Libra in your 4th house on October the 14th. Well, I'm not doing a deep dive into the eclipses. It's angular to you, and it could involve an eclipse energy coming through in the month of October on the 14th, 4 weeks before, 6 weeks, months after, that will eclipse your living situation. Depends on if your IC is here, but some of you may be looking at selling or relieving yourself of a home, moving your home, or changing your home, okay, as a result of this October 14th eclipse. Come take my webinar, dive in to see whether it affects you based on the degree of your sun, moon, and rising sign and more. So if you want to know more about whether you may be moving because of this October eclipse, for example, come see me in the webinar, and we'll talk about it October 3rd. There is a replay, and if you missed the webinar and you're listening to this, I will post the replay replay link perhaps to my YouTube channel. All right, thanks everybody. Hopefully you're well, and that this October, which is a rock and roll month, is a good one for you. Ciao, ciao.